Hi chums, we're back to the spuds again. I gave those spuds yesterday, number 4 and 5, the Maris Pear and Charlotte's. I gave them to my cousin Connor. He came to see us today and I gave him those spuds because I have far too many spuds for myself, and the real pleasure in this is giving stuff away. So this one here is another bag of Charlotte's and it's number 13. Number 13, nothing exciting at all, it just says there, as you can see, wherever it is, one Charlotte, one large Charlotte. So there's been nothing done to this one, as in like taking off chits and stuff. So we'll see how we get on here. We'll definitely not do as well as we did with the Maris Pears, you know. I don't think that's going to happen again. And I've lost my secateurs. Oh no, I haven't. They're here. So I've noticed that the stems on this are getting a bit awful looking. So I'll maybe just go through the early potatoes and take them all out now, because they're a bit sort of sloppy looking. I don't want that to be blight, you know. So I'm putting that. What I'm doing is I'm putting that in the brown bin that goes out on Wednesday, because I don't want to keep anything with blight on the garden here, because blight will stay alive from one season to the next. I think if it gets a real cold winter it might kill it, but in normal circumstances we have a fairly mild winter. Like, I mean, -2 or what, 28 degrees is cold here. So you can imagine the panic we were in a few years ago when it was -20 degrees or about 0 Fahrenheit. We all thought we were going to die then. In fact, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was a dry heat, a dry cold, and we get a wet cold here, and it's a horrible type of cold we get. It really gets into your bones. And I've had people from Canada here who have suffered -50s and 60s and all this sort of stuff, and they say that the cold we get in Ireland, that maritime wet cold, is far worse than the dry cold that they experience, the real extremes. So if you've got rheumatism or arthritis, don't come to Ireland to retire. Right, this feels fairly heavy, but it could be all water. But I don't think I'm going to get another load like I got yesterday. I think that was pretty exceptional. Right, pigging. So tomorrow's dinner, what's tomorrow's dinner? Tomorrow's dinner is going to be bacon, cabbage and potatoes. And unlike a popular myth would have it, Irish people do not eat bacon, cabbage and potatoes at every single meal. Nor do we eat corned beef. But corned beef was invented in Ireland, and what did was they called it corned beef when the coffin ships, as we call them, were going to America and the people were dying en route, but they were desperate immigrants that were leaving during the famine and stuff here in the 1845. That potato, that's the seed potato, and it's still pretty firm. But they got onto the coffin ships, as they call them, one-way ships to America, and in order to keep the meat fresh, they used to salt it, and the grains they used were the size of kernels of corn, so they called it corned beef. And it was actually nothing to do with corn or corn fed or anything else. It was the actual preserving process of putting the beef in salt to preserve it, like you got the expression corned beef. So the Irish gave that to the world as well. But I never had corned beef in my life until I went to Canada and had it there. I really liked it too. That awful stuff that comes in a tin from Argentina, Frey bent as corned beef, and well, the least said about that the better, you know. So but I've never had proper corned beef until I went to America or Canada. And all my Canadian friends were astonished because some of them thought we ate corned beef every day. So there's another myth dispelled for you folks. We eat sausages. I've got a sausage story for you. I meant to tell this story a long time ago, but I didn't. Now look, see these here. These are exactly the way Charlotte should be, just about the size of eggs. That is absolutely perfect for Charlotte. They're a salad potato and they're a small potato, and I let mine get too big normally because I leave them in so long. But this year I'm taking my potatoes early because, as Dale Calder said, there's no point in going down to the shops to buy new potatoes when you have them sitting in your garden. So that's what I'm doing. Sausages. I have to do a bit of background stuff here first, okay? I worked in a college in Lisburn, and I lived outside Lurgan. So every day on my way to work, I had to go through a little village called Myra, or Mara, as people here sometimes pronounce it. So there's a set of traffic lights in the middle of Myra, and there's beautiful butchers just across a parking space about the width of a single carriageway. And I was regularly stopped at that traffic light and had plenty of time to look around me. So then there's a paper in the newspaper. A story appeared where McCartney's button in Myra. Okay, to give you an example as well of the size of Myra. Myra is about 400 yards long. It's just one street with a T-junction, and there's just a set of traffic lights at the T-junction to allow the guys at the junction out. But it's just a one street, and there's your butcher and florist and greengrocer and a clothes shop. It's not a huge place, but it's got a vibrant little village, okay? So one day there's a story in the paper about I think it's Robert McCartney, the butcher in Myra, who had the beautiful butchers. It was a beautiful, but it was also a very famous butcher because he won a lot of prizes. So there was one particular night that somebody came into the shop and said to him, "I'm surprised you're not in Paris." And he said, "Why?" And they said, "Because there's a small meats competition going on for European butchers, and they're basically assessing the quality of stuff produced by small butchers." So he lifted a pound of sausages off the counter, got a flight to Paris, entered his sausages late, just got them in time, and won the prize for the best sausages in Europe. So obviously that was all over the papers. So we're all very pleased for Mr. McCartney and his business. I'm sure his business was going grand. So my mother said to me one day after this, I used to leave my children with my mother in the morning, and she said to me, "Do you go through Myra on your way to work?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." "Why?" She says, "Do you know where McCartney's Butchers is?" I said, "Of course I do." She says, "Well, would you do something for me? Would you nip in sometime and get me a pound of sausages?" I says, "Well, surely." And she says, "I want to taste what they're like because they won the best sausage in Europe, and I want to know what they're like. I've never had anything from his shop before." I said, "That's fair enough, I'll get them for you sometime." But of course I went through Myra every day for the next few weeks and months, and it was about 3 months later and my mother said to me, "You never got me those sausages yet." I went, "Oh, right, I'm sorry." She says, is it a bother?" I said, "No, there's no bother at all." I said, "I just keep forgetting. There's actually parking right outside the shop at the traffic lights." And she said, "Oh, do you know what? You know what, all right?" I said, "Yes, beautiful butchers. It's really nice. It's yellow and it's got beautiful meats in the window, and it's just real old fashioned with flowers around it and all." She says, "Right, that's grand. That's grand. I'm going to turn this up a wee bit." She says, "That's grand." So she says to me then, "Would you get them for me sometime?" And I says, I will surely. You just put that up a bit more." So another couple of weeks went past and my mother said, "Brenton, you still haven't got me those sausages." Now, right. I'm sorry, I forgot, Mr. Reliable. So then, on a particular day, part of my job was water skiing and rock climbing and canoeing and running about the mountains. That was brilliant, So we had a group of students out water skiing, and we had to come back through Myra village to get home because we wanted to drop a couple of people off near their own houses because they were soaked and we wanted out of the bus basically. So we thought, look, instead of bringing you back the whole way to Lisburn to go back to your own house, we'll drop you at Myra on the way home. That's dead on. As we were going slowly through the village, I suddenly spotted the butchers down at the traffic lights, And I said to Alistair, my colleague and friend who was driving, Alistair, I'm going to jump out of the bus here. I'm going to run down to McCartney's and get some sausage from my mother, because she's been on my back for the last couple of weeks. It's my own fault, but I'll get that sorted. And by the time you get to the traffic lights, I'll be back out again. It's no problem. So I jumped out of the front of the minibus, ran down the street into the butcher's, and I said, how you doing? Fella, he's not too bad. What can I do for you? And I said, give me a pound of sausages, please. And he said, do you want beef or pork? And I went, give me pork, please. I'll take pork. He went, okay. Do you want the fat ones or the thin ones? And I said, give me the fat one. I'll tell you what, I said, give me the ones that won the competition in Paris. And he went, right, that's okay. That's the butcher up the road you'll be wanting then. And I was in the wrong bloody butchers. So I said to him, right, look, I'll tell you what, give me a pound of beef sausages and a pound of pork sausages, and give me some of those lamb chops as well. And I bought about 20 pounds worth of stuff off him because I was so embarrassed, you know. So that was fair enough. I got back into the bus and told me mate, Alistair, look, I have thought that was McCartney's Butchers all along, and it's not. I don't even know where McCartney's is. So he said, well, you'll be coming back through here this evening, have a look. I was driving back through the town. About 200 yards further up the road, at the top of the hill, there's a huge butcher's with all these trophies in the windows. McCartney Butchers, McCartney Brothers, I think. So I finally found out where it was, but I already had me 20 quid worth of stuff in the car, so I went on home. But I got my mother the sausages the next week, and they were very nice, you know. But that was my embarrassing moment in the butchers, you know. Give me the ones that won the competition. That'll be the butcher up the road you want. So there you go. Right, what have we got here? Now, oh, I need to turn the camera down again. Hold on. I need to turn the camera down. Where are we at? I need to turn this back. I need to turn this down. There we are. That looks near enough there. Right. It's not going to be £7, that's for sure. But I've got my scales. I fixed my scales, folks. And what I did was I got a file, and I got a knife first, and I made a wee mark exactly in the middle, and then I got a file, and I filed a groove in the middle of the handle, so I can slot the wire into that when I'm hanging the potatoes up. So it means that from now on, all weighings will be done from exactly the same spot on the handle. So there'll be no need to threaten me with court appearances for telling lies and stuff. Right, let's see, what are we at? The weather's, you won't believe this. I'm going to show you something in a minute when I finish this that you will not believe. Oh no, I showed you yesterday. Remember I showed you the barrel, the barrel that I keep the rainwater in, and with no water in it? Check the weather forecast today. It's going to be 10 days before we get rain. It's sunshine and cloud but no rain. This is phenomenal. Like, imagine somebody in Ireland can't get rain. Right, now it's doing me all me putting it about here with the camera again. Right, so turn this back, turn this round. What do we see now? Yeah, there we go. On target, and we'll just do that and bring it in a bit closer. You see what I did there? See the wee groove I have right in the middle? Where are we at? Oh, finger's too big. Let's see, right in the middle there. I put a wee groove in the camera there, and what that does is it allows me to hang it up in exactly the same spot every time. There you go. See now? Okie dokie. Right. So I'm doing something here wrong. Right, that's it. That's onto the screen now. Right, that'll do well. That's good there. Right, so we turn it on. Hello. And then we get our weight. It's only going to be a couple of pounds, folks. It's nothing going to be. It's going to be 3 pounds. We're going to go 3 pounds. So it's on pounds now, and it says 3.5 pounds. So that's just about 1.1 kilos. I think that's about 1.1 kilos anyway. Yeah, 1.5. What's bigger than what I thought? 1.5. Oh, so about 1.5. I meant 1.6 kilos. So that's all right. You know, from one potato, that's all right. But I'll go back to the pound, 3.5 pounds. So there you are. That's going to keep us going for a couple of days for our bacon, our bacon and sausages tomorrow. Bacon and cabbage tomorrow. We've always got a problem though. When we do that, when we do the bacon and cabbage, we've always got a problem because we don't know whether we like bacon and cabbage more than bacon and turnip. So we end up doing turnip and cabbage and bacon and potatoes. And then you come to the end of the bacon. I'm very mathematical when I'm eating, and I would have a piece of bacon and a piece of turnip and a piece of cabbage, or a piece of bacon, a piece of turnip and a piece of potato, and all lined up exactly the same quantities. Because if you don't eat properly, we divide all your food up into sections, and you have a bit of each thing on every forkful. It means all your bacon goes down one arm, and all your turnips goes down the other arm, and your potatoes goes down one leg, and your whole balance goes up. Then so you eat mathematically like I do, and then what do you call it? Everything's okay. So the problem is you get to the end, I've got a bit of bacon and a bit of turnip and a bit of cabbage and a bit of potato. What do I do? Which do I finish on? I've never solved that problem. So there you go, folks. I'll fire this up. I'll fire this up very quickly, actually, Okay. Oh yes, something else to show you. Right, just let me pull the gloves off here. Something that I did today. Ian Nocton will be interested in this because it has to do with him. It's to do with strawberries as well. So strawberries, Ian Nocton, there's a connection for you. But I'm waiting for runners to come on my strawberries. I've taken the last of them off. They're basically done now. I'll just take this round here and take this off. And I'm going to have a bit of a problem here because this thing's attached to a plate. But it's okay now. So I'll just head out here and show you what I'm talking about. I did a bit of experiment today. Look. Oh yes, look what I did. I had to fill the drum with tap water. But there's tap water, there's fluoride and chlorine and stuff in it. So if you put it into a drum like that, overnight it gases off and it can be used. There's what I did there, Ian. I kind of gave the strawberries a good haircut. And as you can see, there's only 5 plants there, which they've obviously expanded over the years. But I'm going to see will they put runners out. But in case I burnt my boats, I've left these ones intact. So they will still produce runners as required for both of us, So one way or another we'll get runners, but I want to see if this works because I've never done this before, and I've listened to a lot of articles where people said you should take your strawberries right back to the ground almost, or to the crown before winter, and let them come through the winter like that. Now my own theory was leave the foliage on to protect the crown during winter, and that has always seemed to work. So this time they're going to have to work for their money, I suppose. So that's what I did today. Cleared up, and you can see yourselves, folks, what I did. You can see there the membrane, which is still intact after 5 years, I suppose, and it's still working the best. It keeps the strawberries up. But my main problem has been overcrowding, and then the snails get in there and the slugs, and they eat some of the strawberries. So that's not a good thing. So there you are. That's where we are, folks. Okay. So that's it. I'll finish up now, and I'll fire this one up later on. Okay. All the best now. Bye bye.